How do you know if your trust is revocable? In California, all trusts begin life being revocable. The law says that unless there's a clear expression of irrevocability, meaning an expression that the trust cannot be changed or modified, then the default presumption is the trust is revocable and it can be changed or modified. It can be a little bit of a tricky question, however, to know if somebody has expressed a desire to make the trust irrevocable. Now obviously if they use the term irrevocable, then we can presume that that's what they meant. They want the trust to not be amendable or changeable because they use the word irrevocable. But under the law, you don't have to use the term irrevocable to make a trust irrevocable. You simply have to express an intent that a trust is not to be revoked under certain circumstances. For example, if you have a trust that says that it can be revoked during the joint lifetimes of the settlors, so a husband and wife create a trust, and during their joint lifetimes the trust can be revoked, and that's all it says, then once one of those spouses dies, the trust becomes irrevocable. The law presumes that if the revocability is dependent upon the joint lives, once that joint lifetime ends by the death of one of them, then by implication there's a clear expression that the trust is supposed to be irrevocable after that point in time, after the death. That's a good example of how a trust can become irrevocable even though the term irrevocable is not used. For example, if I were to say that this trust shall remain revocable until January 1 of 2017, then at that date, presumably, the trust would become irrevocable, even though I never actually used that term irrevocable. What the law is looking for is the intent of the settlor. So if the settlor has expressed an intent in some way that the trust is supposed to be irrevocable, then that's the intent that's going to be enforced. Of course, it's always better to use clear terms. Saying a trust is revocable or irrevocable is a much better way to go, so that you're not leaving it to the court to decide what was the intent of the settlor based on all the language that's used. But there are times when a trust can be revocable or irrevocable based on expressions that are used that don't necessarily use those exact legal terms.